Hello everybody, welcome back to more Motorsport Manager 2018 season for Thetymix Racing. Third year of Create Your Own Team career, and we are headed to Brazil, of course, for Rio de Janeiro Race 3 with a surprising lead in the point standings. Jake Hughes really out in front in the driver rankings, and on the team side we got 14 points up in AMG and we're well ahead of the field. Of course, it is still early in the season, important to remember that, but we're considering pushing for promotion this year while I was planning on waiting another year. So we're going to have to see how things work out over the next few races. I want to wait till at least about the 5th or 6th race before I make any rash decisions on that. 37 hours this time, not nearly as long. It was 47. Sky with Natalie Pinkham. Podium for your team is a great result. Jake Hughes raced supremely. How do you feel? Feels good, but we need to build on this success. Today is just the start. No impacts from that. 6.552 seconds, a little bit slower. We had one pit mistake, and Sandra Kaczmarzyk, our new hire on the jack, was the issue with that. So let's take a look at what we're doing there. And I would imagine, drop down to 78, which we can still going to be our best person. So we're looking for basically 12 on the tires, 14 on the rear, 15 on the front. Well, looks like Lagos or legs or whatever here would be a good one to improve that rear jack. And we've got a 12 on the front, not good enough. 12 and 11 on the rear, also not good enough. So that's going to be our one hire for this race. And then let's take a look at now our rear jack people. We have Galnavach out there at 13, Galliano at 13, but now we've got Lagos at 14. And so we're definitely going to want to get rid of Galliano. Hasta la bye-bye. You have served us well for a pretty long time, I think, but history is going to move on without you. So if we switch out here, no. There we go, and that gets us to our new low. I think we're at 10.97 seconds once. We're down to 10.94. Bisagno still available on the front, but Kaczmarzyk, despite that mistake, still going to have a higher stamina and therefore lower mistake chance. We got to get DeFonte and Ball out of there. Let's get Courtright out on one of these tire spots. Given the two choices here, I'm going to put Pankiewicz out because I want to save Galnavach for rear jack activity. Although, since Lagos is at 95%, yeah, you've got a little bit better stamina. So let's send you out there. I'd also like to get Pankiewicz out instead of Eason. 10.87. So that's all of our top people out there for the moment. That's not going to last, but that's very nice. That's almost a tenth of a second faster than I believe we've ever been before. Now let's see. 3 weeks on the scouting facility and Rio is coming. What about our first vote? That's going to come too. Do we want to add Black C, Track F? Let's take a look at what we're going to do. Random grids. Points for the top 5 and no last place bonus payments. So I think we're probably going to abstain from this. We'd like it, but it's not of huge importance to us. I think we want to make sure we don't get random grids. That's probably going to be our strategy for this year. I don't remember if I looked at that before or not. Looks like those just came in. Mulsanne has opened a new forecasting center for 6 million. So they should be happy about that. And there's our brakes. So let's see how they stack up to what we already have. And we're looking at a new max of 342 compared to 266 and 295. We'll want to keep that going. Deceleration plus 20 and then deceleration plus 40. That'll get us up to 382. And then our next one, looks like we're going to be taking that. It'll be hit our reliability, but that'll boost it up another 40 to like 422. So we're going to be seeing over a 50% improvement in our brake performance eventually. This is going to take some time to get here, but I think it's going to be worth it. We can march straight up here, do 3 of them, and don't see any reason to grab any of these others. Now we could try to get a 4th and get our tire wear efficiency boosted. I don't think it's worth it for something that's going to be just this year. Just the long-term stuff, again, is what I'm concerned with. Okay, so 400K. That's nothing when you've got a 20 million bankroll. We're going to be having more sponsors coming in, but look at our brake rating jumping up. It still says we're 11th, but basically it says we're average already, so should be able to have all of our parts above average before long. And we still don't have our repairs done. There they are. And we're looking at engine, suspension, and spoiler, all 3. So lots of reliability issues to work on, but the spoiler is basically there. So if we pull these out and get those suspensions up, the suspensions are close too. So I may be able to even cycle in some other parts here. I'm going to want to be careful. I want to get, now again, I do want to try to get these up to 90. And we're going to mostly get the engine ones. I'm going to be switching out like the suspension, the spoilers while we knock these engine up. But I'm going to want the engines out there, and then it'd be nice to boost these suspensions, but they don't have that much to go. We're going to be designing more of those parts, designing more of the spoilers, I'm sure. So I'm not as concerned about getting those performance boosts. Matter of fact, I'm going to take those out. I'm not going to worry about those performance boosts. I'm going to worry about the engine that we're going to be using. These are definitely going to be our 2 engines for this year. So those can just gradually boost their way up. Now, I'd like to get those 2 engines in the car for this race. So I want to take this a bit slowly. Let me just see how many more scouting jobs we have. Plenty. Jean-Carl Vernet, fairly decent. Just over 3-star. Solid all the way across the board except for focus. That's a weakness. Decent marketability. And he's got a long contract, so we can forget about hiring him anytime soon. But good driver overall. That focus just really hurts him. Going to be very accident prone and probably a lot of bad turns. And almost there with that suspension, but not quite. There. Oh, no, we want to get up to 90%. That's right. We'll go and keep boosting them, get them up to about 90. We'll throw the spoilers out a little bit later. '83 and '85. And Gianni Morbidelli, below average, predicted to finish 18th. Low marketability, but solid across the board, really. Another driver we would like. 20 months, probably wouldn't be interested. Nope. Gradually keep creeping up. 85 and 87. Oh, we've got something here from my assistant, Jerry Getmighton. One of our guys just had a great new idea about the engines. I won't bore you with the details, but if we were to re-engineer the electronics, we'd get some seriously good performance out of it. Only downside is it's going to cost us plus 30 performance from the engine for 400K. I think we want to do this. I don't know if this would be permanent, but I have to think it would be. But in any case, 400K to get a boost out of the engine is nothing. So let's see where that puts us. Yeah, it increases the max. So that's going to be very helpful. Very helpful indeed. Almost there now. We want to hit that 90% mark. There it is. We're going to pull that suspension out. Put in this spoiler. Not quite there. Still not quite there. You can see those engines really moving up there. 75%. Another scouting report. Tiago Montero. He's old, so he's got a -2 to everything. +2 overtaking, +5 marketability. But yeah, I just don't think he's quite good enough anymore to invest in. He's just a reserve for Ivan Muller. They're paying $500K a race for a reserve. That's painful. Still 89. There's 90. Pull that out. Get this one in there. Okay. We should be getting everything pretty close to where we want it by the race. Now, other parts, the brakes, not that impressive. Gearbox is getting close, but really the brakes is the only one that's... gearbox is iffy, but brakes are the only one that are a long way off. We haven't had a track that really needed them yet. And that's kind of a nice thing for us because of the new ones that we're developing. Maybe we'll have time to get those up to speed after this race. We will see. Interview about potential Black Sea being added. Tell everybody what you think about the vote. Could you tell us you're thinking ahead of the vote? And I'm just going to say I've yet to decide. It's definitely tricky to see exactly who's going to benefit from this rule change. If I don't see any clear arguments either way, I may just abstain. Sounds like I'm playing it cagey, but not really. I just sort of actually think that's the way it is. It's not worth my my voting power to make a big change there. Okay, our next breaks are done. Time to meet. Voting season is always fascinating, says Eddie Dubois. Defines the face of our sport for years to come. That is true. 35 laps in Rio, 3.4 miles. Engines are going to be the key for this one. Ultra and super soft. And we're not agreeing with that chance of rain, but rain earlier in the deal. Low fuel burn, medium tire wear. And here's our new brakes. So 382 is a nice big gain, but we're not going to stop there. Nope. Going here, here, and here. And that's going to take like a month. And then we're going to want 2 of those. So that's going to slice off a big chunk of the season, but on the other hand, we're going to turn our weakest aspect of our car probably into a strength. It's going to start all the way down at 5% reliability, so there's going to be a lot of boosting to do in the shop. But that should be our first max part. So that time that we're not spending on the engine, going to spend it here. And still want to keep going there. Okay. Kusbecker says, we're not the least marketable team, but signing some more media-friendly drivers or a few stronger race performances will enable us to sign better sponsorship deals. Ironically, that's no longer true. Because to get 5 stars, we need the helipad thing. And, oh, we're down to 3 stars. We were at 4. Okay. So we lost just enough marketability in that last race. Not doing quite as well. We're right on that edge. And our HQ, 3 hours. And there's that scouting facility, I believe. Look at that, 285. We got all kinds of new drivers available to us. But we got to scout the ones we have lined up first. More importantly, what are we going to do next? Headquarters is only 10th, even after that. Design 8th, 7th factory. Performance still last. 3rd in staff, and 4th in staff and brand. So those are nice. The Handling Development Center to boost our suspensions, improve cornering and smoothness. Simulator to up the spoiler, consistency, adaptability. Telemetry, gearbox. The test track for the engine. Yeah, that's the one I don't need. So I think it comes down to these 4. And so it's sort of like, well, which part do we need the most? So the telemetry center is actually the most expensive of the two of the whole group by a hair. 48,000 a race, though not a huge amount. And smoothness and consistency are a couple of pretty important driver stats. So I'm going to go with that. 5 million and change. There we go. And let's see if we can find that scouting facility that we built. There it is, right over here. So it's not far away from the staff center. We've got the telemetry under construction. They come in this way. Factories on the left. Then we got the scouting facility here with a nice little fountain out front. Let me get back over to that. Trees around, and then up in here where they apparently pour over all the data and tapes and all the other key information on the drivers. And the staff center forecasting all of that out this way. Okay, so that's gonna take care of what we're gonna do for the HQ for a good part of the rest of the season. And we'll keep on rolling with all these settings. %, still not there. Rio de Janeiro Roundup, AMG tipped to do well. Be amazed if Lucas Auer doesn't walk away with the top prize. JQ's hoping to follow up his win in the last race. They said, we don't really have a great car for Rio de Janeiro, to be brutally honest. Ugh. And then another Victoria Pankiewicz saying it was never going to be our strongest race of the season, to be honest. It's not going to be easy. So they're thinking we're not going to like this track. Not sure I totally agree with that, but could be a little bit rough. Our engines, yeah, they say that we're 7th. We'll see about that. 10th overall. Let's adjust our suspensions down to 2nd. But we're into the green on everything except for the gearbox. So that's a nice thing, even though we're not going to be using those better brakes yet. So that's sort of a misrepresented thing. Okay, now these are in. And I think I just want to boost those engines for the last little bit here. Get them up as close to 90% as we can, and then we're going to go into the brakes and everything else. Reliability for the next race. Scouting report on Norbert Nagy. 53%. He's only got an 8-month contract, but is still not interested in talking to us. Not great feedback, but really solid across the board. 8.5 average form this year. He's finished 13th and then 5th in Phoenix. Just, you know, it's a better driver than what we have, not by a huge amount, but he is better. And let's do the Black Sea, and we are gonna hold off. So we abstain. Another abstain. Groff is in favor. Schulte against. Ford thinks it's a good idea. Another abstainer. Romano says no. Peters says no. But Verbeek says yes. It's a close vote going into the last few. Everett against. Ranauer 4. Abstaining. And there we go. And he says no. So once again, the commissioner has to sort of cast the tie-breaking vote, and he says, we'll keep things as they are. Oh, I didn't even check this out. See, this is a bad little bit here, because I could actually game this. We already did the vote, and then Ludwig Jelen trying to bribe me to vote for it. So I could game it here and accept this without actually having to do it, because the vote's already happened. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say no. And I probably would have taken it, because the vote didn't matter that much. I would have done a one vote in favor of it. Probably would have taken it, but that little bit of money, not going to matter that much, and not implemented. Next vote is the one that matters the most to us, because assuming we stay down in the WTCR, we do not want random grids next year. We want to be able to start near the front on a regular basis. Let's see how far that got us. Oh, it boosted up more than I thought to 92%. Okay, so let's pull these out. Let's throw on the ones that we don't have maxed out yet. The brakes and the gearbox. Okay, now sponsors. We did get a 4-star along with a couple 3-stars here. And these are bonus. These are all bonus ones. What about these? Because we already have. We finish 11th or above, we get 780K. And that's for 12 races, and we don't have even a fixed option here. None of these are better. So I think I just want the shortest one, because this is going to be a wasted thing anyway. No, so this is just unfortunately going to be a wasted sponsor spot. And then what do we have here? These are all fixed. Just a question of how much money can we get. 18 races, 17 races, that's slightly better. But 12 races for the most money from Gas Monkey. That's an easy choice. Get us back up to almost 18 million before we even go out to the race. Okay, now we're going to want to, we're going to definitely take the higher one. And we're not going to make as much money because we're not getting as good of a sponsor in that one spot. Let's get our parts situated and put those engines out there. New engines on the track. We're going to have more fuel efficiency and higher performance. And predicting now, 16th and 17th, almost middle of the pack. So we're all pretty happy with things. And yeah, 28 degrees, fairly warm. Probably not going to want to use ultras if we can avoid it. We focus on the softs. Let's also see what our car rating is. It does boost us. It says we're still 10th, but we're almost up to the median. We have the best engines around. 3rd, 11th on the brakes. That's still an issue. 2nd and 6th. So yeah, the brakes is the only one we're still not really competitive with. And I think a couple more races, we're going to start rectifying that. So it's off to Brazil we go. The prediction of rain for practice was on the money, and look at some of these form numbers. Not so much for Pankiewicz. But gotta like what we're seeing for Svaneborg and Hughes. They'll be out there for the practice round. And let's see. It does look like we're going to want inters to start. And then we can probably get some dry stuff in later. So we might be looking to get level 1 trim on both of those. Think let's go with a little bit less speed there. Let's try that. Go a little bit lower on the cornering. That should be reasonably close. I wish there was a way to set them up to default to race trim. That's the, or default to qualifying, you know, not have to change it at the beginning. But that's sort of a minor concern, but it seems to me like it would be a good, sensible option to have. In any case, Hughes at 7, Svaneborg at 6, so not as good as we expected, but still quality. Most of the other cars, well, the ones that are out appear to be on inters. The ones that are still in the pits, not so much. So, of course, spending times in the pits right at the beginning of practice, not a great idea. So, I think ideally on this track, I'd like to get level 1 and then switch to level 2. Nope, I don't want that on. There we go. Anyway, level 1 on the inters and then switch to getting the same on the dry tires. But that all depends on how far we get. It does look like we're going to have an extended dry period starting almost halfway through. Here's Hughes setting the pace and saying we want more weight in the back of the car. And everybody now out on inters. It is still raining. Hughes' pace dropping, but still looking pretty good. Liking the ballast there. And 209. These are long laps. Let's see if we can get around. And let's see, second and fourth. Yeah, Hughes is in front. Interesting that Svaneborg was even faster. This is almost the longest possible track here in Rio. We're losing spots, but I think we're going to get... Let's see. Okay, now I've got to decide. Well, I definitely don't need them both out there more. So let's bring in Hughes. And Svaneborg is going to be a little bit behind, so I can wait just a bit longer to decide. Right there. Are we going to make it? Probably not. Thing is, I don't think I can send her around again and get the race trim on the supers. And I think we really need to get the race trim on the supers. So I'm going to bring her in and say, you know what? We're going to just barely miss out on the inters. I think that's the right call here. I'm not sure, but I think it is. Okay, handling on the mark. Speed is good. But you don't like where the weight is. 90% for the first try. Not going to complain about that. Let's get more weight to the back. Say something like that. Let's bring back the there, and then I don't know if we want more acceleration or speed, but let's just try that, and yeah, let's see if that works. Race trim. Switching to the super softs. We want to try to get, and I think we should just barely be able to do it, level 1 trim on those. And we did just miss it. We did not get our level 1 inters. Really close, but didn't get it. 87% here. So not a lot to complain about there either. We will switch to super softs. And I'm going to assume that you have the same basic idea of let's put more weight in the back. I'm going to guess on the oversteer and acceleration side of things. I don't know if that's right. That's what I'm guessing. You can always go back the other way at another time. 20 seconds. Okay. And now I'm just going to speed this up because I've got to run out this entire last section, basically no matter what happens. Because I've got to get that level 1. Level 2 race trim, level 1 super softs is what I'm going for here. And not quite making it on the inters. Of course, cars going directly through us in practice. So Svaneborg liked the change to the ballast, but Hughes did not. So we're going to definitely be taking some lookers at that in qualifying. Of course, we're not going to be able to adjust it much. It's probably going to be one start and stop, one change at the beginning of qualifying, one start and stop, another change, and that's it. 4 minutes. I think we're going to make it. Look at Svaneborg. First position while Hughes is only 7th. Very interesting. Of course, no, a lot of other cars still out there on inters haven't changed their tires, which is just ridiculous. But it's not really going to matter a whole lot. Oh, it's going to start raining again? Right at the end. It's going to get more rain. Well, let's back off our tires here. This is going to be our last time around. So we got the level 2 race trim, the level 1 super softs. And on a long track, can't complain about that. It's also a nice little moment for our reserve driver, Svaneborg, because this is the, like, she doesn't get a moment in the sun very much. She's not a good overall driver, so for her to place first in practice is kind of ridiculous, actually. Really need to make some good changes in qualifying, and then, of course, we'll get to see where exactly we match up. I have a feeling we're going to be looking pretty good in this race, but not spectacular. We really don't know yet. And Svaneborg says, feels like we got a pretty good, decent setup out there today. Really enjoyed myself out there today. Cars feeling good. And Aaron Andrews from ESPN saying, what'd they put in the water at our HQ? Mega impressive. And they also say Lucas Auer is rubbish. Yeah, that's the guy they predicted to win the race. You might want to back off just a bit there. And it was supposed to rain for qualifying, but no sign of it early. They said light rain for practice, that happened. Heavy rain for qualifying, and then nothing for the race. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. So you have to see how it goes, but yeah, we're never going to get a decent lap in during that wetness, and we won't get around in time. So we're going to want to go out a 2-minute lap. Yeah, I think we just want to go out on inners, a start and stop, and then change later. And I can't tell what the weather is going to be like the second half, but it could very well be wet again. So we're going to have to take a look at that when the time comes. All right, super softs and sweetest spots for Pankiewicz. Jake Hughes, super softs, which we won't be using today anyway. Yuck, not that great. Well, let's take a look. 94%. We did nail the cornering. We want more understeer on the handling. And we like where the acceleration is. Maybe pull it back even a bit. Okay, so let's do a couple beats of this. I don't see any reason not to try that. Let's throw you out there on some start and stop inters. It's going to be dry at the beginning but wet later. Maybe ultras would be faster for more of the practice lap. I don't know. But this is what I'm going with. 90% down to 80% because we went from okay to poor. So we do want more weight in the front. And then we also want a little bit more top speed. Probably want this around there. Let's make that change first. I like all of it, except for I'd like this to be maybe a bit more. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's hope we nail this, because we've got to just go out, make adjustments, and then see what happens. I think when we come back in, we're going to have about 5.5 minutes. And we're going to want to go out with no more than 3. Yeah, and about halfway around the track, the rain starts. So I don't think we would have been any better off on the other tires. And it doesn't matter that much. We're just talking about a few seconds either way. Okay, so yeah, looks like it's going to be good later. Although that's dropping again. Just wait a bit. Yeah, 2.5 minutes roughly till we cross the line from when we go out. That's the time that we have. So that means that, let's see. I don't think I want to wait past about 3:30. Oh, we are gonna get more rain there. Is there time to get a dry weather lap in there in that 4 to 2 minute, because we're not going to be able to get out there for 4. So like if we went out right away, we might get there at about 3, be like from 3 to 1. Whew. I think we're going to be safer. See what kind of rain. Yeah, I think we're going to be safer waiting to go out at the end and then being on inters. I think we want to run an inter lap at the end. I'm not sure, but I think that's our best play. I think we want to send them out. Anything after 3.5, actually, I think probably closer to 4. 345, 350 is what I'm thinking. Is when I want to start this. 96%. So we're going to want to make a couple adjustments there. Cues. 97%. So we got to make a little bit of adjustments. So we should be close. Just to be safe, I think I want to do this at 4 minutes. Now, track is soaked now. It's going to be, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's inters that we're going to want. Let's just speed this up and then send Pankiewicz out at 4 with Hughes to follow. I don't think 4 is too soon at all either for this situation. Okay, now what do we have to do here? Well, we want to maintain that. Handling, great, good, great. A little bit more understeer, and then good, great, great. If that was good, yeah. If anything, we want acceleration right on the very end. A little bit more understeer and acceleration right on the very end. So if I did this and then tweaked this back into position. Okay, I think that's about as good as we're going to get it, and that should be at least 97%, maybe higher. And of course we're going to switch to ultras. So 25-second change. All right, let's set that up. And then let's get you out there because I don't want to wait any longer. Okay, 97%. Now we just need to nail this in. Great, good, and great. So that is great. And that is great. How about right in the middle? And compared to there, yep, I think that's my best shot at trying to get up to 98, 99%. Switch to ultras, 15 seconds. That should be enough of a gap. Means you'll go out of the pits with over 3 minutes, and you should have plenty of time to finish. Okay. 8.4 and 6.7. We're set up with good form for our, and I put them both on ultras when I wanted to be on inters. I talked about going on inters, and I hit the wrong tires. Well, so much for this qualifying effort. It's going to be wet out there. Now, other cars are doing efforts on the wet as well, but the point is we had an opportunity to take advantage of it, and I was all set up to do it, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to be on ultras. No, you don't. So there we go. The rain starts, and we're not even... Oh, that absent-mindedness is really irritating me. Because we're in a position like this when we're competing with the other top teams. You know, it's just... Oh, it's going to kill us. Let's just see how bad it is. But I never... Yeah, I didn't even get the temperature for the tires up high enough for Hughes. Okay, a second off the pace after the first set. So we could be right in this middle area, and that wouldn't be terrible. It's just, it should have been better. It really should have been better. And I like to take the mistakes as they come. It's just, I would really like, oh, Hughes doing better than the other. Okay. I would really like to not have this kind of a mistake, but that rain was really short-lived. More short-lived than we thought, so we're getting lucky here. There we go, fourth. And Hughes still in the running for the pole. Come on, buddy. He should be at least first or second. Question is, can he beat Richard? No. He's not happy with it, but he's right off. I mean, second and fifth. So we got a break there at the end with the weather and managed to pull out a good start. Okay, so second and fifth for the race behind Chris Richard. And more importantly, where are the AMG drivers? 9th and 15th. So we have an advantage of them going in. Fuji Television said we must be delighted by the qualifying results. I am. I'm not delighted by my own decision, which ended up messing it up. Only worth watching because Mato Homola's racing? No. It is clear weather to start. It's definitely not often you can screw up the tires and have it pay out for you. That is not a strategy to follow. It's going to continue being good throughout the beginning. It's going to be hot weather. Okay. Well, we're definitely going to be taking... tire engine modes no longer impact condition. Because we only have a 5% boost there, and we're going to be using a lot... even more aggressive driving now that we've got the better fuel efficiency engine. I think I actually want to go with that. First time I've used it, but it's going to be nice. And we're still going to take those tire changes and the 10% performance boost. Okay, so Hughes is sitting at 99%. Pankiewicz, 96%. We nailed this, but not the handling. Let's just see about that. Great. Good. So this is great. And this is great. And this is great. That's good. Great. 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 Like, I want just slightly more oversteer than this. I want to try that. See if I can even make that happen. Okay, so we'll get back to that. But fuel options, tire choice is what I want to see. 18 to 20, and we got to get through 35 laps. I think one of each. Start on ultras, finish on supers. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Okay, so if we start here, and then we do, yeah, that's just a hair more, but then yeah, and we want a slight bit more there, but I don't know that we're going to get it. What if we did this? Then more acceleration. And if we tweak that back in, again, we're right there. And I don't think I'm going to get any better than that, and that should be around 97. Okay. Gonna have to go with it. Tire choice, fuel options, all set. We're not changing your setup. You're at 99. We will go out on those. Okay, so now it's going to be really, really hot for the ultras. So I think I'm going to start with push, and even that I'm not going to be able to maintain much of. Hughes in the front row with Richard, 8 versus 9 in form. Pankiewicz was 7 in the third row and better than anybody around her except for Berman behind. Georgi with a horrible 0. So yeah, good starting positions. Can we make them stick? Up here with Hughes at the front. Can he catch Richard? No, but he didn't lose anything. And there's Pankiewicz boosting up to 4th right away. So we're 2nd and 4th, although Nagy making a push, and now it's 3rd and 4th. And Pankiewicz taking over. Nagy in 1st, but Pankiewicz and Hughes right behind. 3 wide as Pankiewicz up to 2nd, making a play for the lead. Now 2nd and 4th, and everybody coming behind now. But there's Hughes making past the inside, 2nd and 3rd. Can't complain about this kind of a start. Nagy is out ahead of us, but other than that, we're looking good, and I think we want to switch down to neutral tires now. We're not going to be able to maintain that for that long either. But the sooner you switch, the longer you can do it for. So Pankiewicz almost up to 9 for him. Hughes only at 6, and he's the one trying to hold off the pack here. So far doing it successfully, and we're holding about the same gap. So near the end of lap 2, it's Nagy just gradually pulling away from us, Pankiewicz, Hughes, and then the rest of the field. And we're going to go back now to high on our engines. I don't know exactly how much more fuel efficiency we're going to get, but I feel confident that we could get through at least a few more laps and then take a lap to evaluate. That's something I should probably start looking, because I might be able to get a reading on that in the practice. Something I should probably start evaluating. Pankiewicz up to a 10 flat, and trying to make a move for the lead now all of a sudden on Nagy. Gonna have to back off the tires soon, but I just want to see how this goes. I'll do it now with Hughes. Yep, I don't think that's going to happen now, so we'll just back off. But we're obviously in very strong position. We would open up a much bigger lead. And Pankiewicz move all the way up to 4th with Hughes still in a strong first position. We finish anything close to this and it's going to be remarkable. And this is without any assistance at all from, tire repairs and things of that nature, part repairs. Two-second lead now for Pankiewicz on Hughes, staying close to Nagy. And if you look at Hughes, no longer really being threatened that much by Berman. Bit of a gap now between Berman and Rakelmy, so it's just Berman back there, but his form has dropped significantly. So he's holding that off, but that's about it. So yeah, I think we're going to be switching between conserve and normal, and the same thing after we make our stop. It'll just be more normal and less conserve at that point. I think I want to get through the end of this lap and then take a lap at normal fuel with Pankiewicz and see exactly what that impacts. Particularly if Hughes continues to, his form continues to decline, maybe keep him on pushing the fuel a little bit longer. Although, Pankiewicz may want to run one more lap and see if we can make the pass take the lead. But I think I'm going to drop it down. So 1.12. Yeah, I think I want to keep Hughes going. Switch up to neutral. Pankiewicz able to stay close even with the lower gas. So I think she has the better car, but not by a great amount. The tire's down a little more though, and I may just have her make a shot at it. Particularly if we have the fuel. So we're going to have 29 laps to go. Her form is dropping some now down to 9. Hughes is still not bouncing back, and she's starting to fade distance-wise. .04 to .05. 21, 22. Yeah, I definitely got to go medium here with Hughes, who has opened up a gap. But she can go after it a little bit here, and I don't see a better time for it. I think I can go up to about 1.2. So I'll either get the pass with her fairly soon, or I will settle in to second position. It used to be, they would just pass us left and right if we were driving badly, and look at Hughes down to 3.1. He's still holding on to fourth. Or third, excuse me. So, yeah, Pankiewicz is not going to make this here. So we're just going to settle in. I think we can probably speed up through this section of the race. I think I probably want to get to like lap 16 or so. Maybe come in on 16 and 17, something like that. And right now it would be Hughes coming in first and then Pankiewicz, as he is the driver further back. Protect the driver who is farther up in the field. My usual MO. Go ahead and back off the tires here some. And Nagy now pulling away, has somewhat better tires. And also Pankiewicz was driving perfectly and is now merely driving quite well. Hughes holding a lead of between 1.5 seconds and 2 seconds pretty solidly now, and starting to gain some form back. So we're looking pretty secure in our positions. Still very much liking where we're at everywhere in the standings. So Pankiewicz didn't think we had a good car for this track. Well, we may just be proving that wrong. No sign of any rain yet. Temperature dipping up and down but staying steady. Looking like the track it's decent now, but it looks like it's going to get quite fast by the end. And most importantly is that we're gradually putting some distance between ourselves and the field. And it's always an age-old question: do you wait as long as you can to pit in order to wear out their tires and not get stuck in traffic, build distance? Or do you want to spread out those pit stops for overall speed, meaning pitting before the tires are all the way worn, because you'll get more speed off the more reliable, durable ones later. And it's never an easy question, but I don't think we're going to have much tires left at the 16, 17 lap mark, if we even get that far anyway. Pankiewicz at 9, Hughes at 5.2. So we are improving, and we're showing it by pulling away. But Nagy pulling away from us. So if Nagy doesn't have any particularly big problems, form is just pretty average there, then I think we're looking at not winning for the first time this year. But even if we don't place in the winner's circle individually, we're going to be looking awfully strong as a team. Potentially 2 drivers, likely it looks like at this point, 2 drivers on the podium. I think Pankiewicz has a little bit more fuel to play with, but I don't know that I want to use it here. So I'm still shooting for 16 and 17, possibly 15 and 16 if the tires wear out too quickly. And yeah, I think 15 and 16 is probably where I want to be. We're losing quite a bit of tire each lap. So Hughes, you can come in and make your stop. Take a few seconds, come back out, and then Pankiewicz will follow you on the next lap. And we're going to be the first car to stop. But, well, maybe not, because Oriola's there. Most of the others going to wait. Of course, we've got cars on super softs back here, but we're gaining quite a bit of distance on them. We're going to be down in the low 30s by the end of this lap. I don't think we would make Pankiewicz to the end of 17, so I think this is the time to do it. .332, if I'm not mistaken, that's a record. We should be able to stay ahead of Martin. Oriole is going in there to pit. Well, I say we should be able to stay ahead of Martin, but that's actually causing a problem for us. Martin has the same tires, but is weaker. Come on, Jake. I think I'd have to push anything to make this happen. He looks like he's slightly faster. I don't think I have the fuel to burn with him, though. And I can't push the tires. So I'm just going to have to hope he holds on. He's out in 15th. Oriola, the only other car to have pit. And now comes Pankiewicz in. 27%. I made the right call on the laps. No question about it. 11.841. I think that's our best for our, quote, long stop. And she's out in 15th. Hughes in 13th, ahead because of the faster pit. DuPont repairing, Morbidelli in. So we're basically bracketing Martin here. Hughes at 5, Pankiewicz 7, 6. It'll be interesting to see if we can maintain this. That is, if Pankiewicz moves up. I think we want to stay on neutral on the tires and then just get as much of those out of those as we can. Pankiewicz does have some fuel, I think, not a lot. But let's use a little bit of it here. Let's get by Martin if we can. There we go. It's a nice straightaway to do it on. Alright. That should be a very inexpensive fuel-wise. Still has more fuel left than does Hughes. And now we're going to be seeing some pit stops soon. Hughes will drop back to conserve. Yep, the temperature getting a little bit warm. Pankiewicz will join that soon. We're going to be passing a whole bunch of people pretty quick. Back to conserve. Berman going to repair. Raquelme going to repair, and lots more going into the pits. A third car going to repair. We pass them all. 7th and 8th. And we're right about where we want to be on fuel. Definitely going to pass everybody except for Nagy, who is hanging out on the track a little longer than he should, probably trying to go for 2 ultras. Being conservative with the tires and going with 2 ultras. But he's really the only one that I'm worried about right now. I expect to beat everybody else. Right now our problem is being scrunched up behind Chadwick. And he doesn't have particularly low tires, so that's not a problem that's going to go away. So not having anything to use to really go by is a bit of an issue here. Tires temperature is not going down very fast. I'd like to switch up to neutral and get by, but I don't know if I can do that. Meanwhile, Nagy is really hanging out there. Alright, I'm going to go for it here. Can't do this for very long, but I'm going to go for it. Here comes some more cars into the pits. Hughes right there on the inside. There we go. Come on, hold it. Nope, not going to hold it. There goes Pankiewicz. Thing is, our fuel's really getting away from us here. And I'm pushing it against my better judgment. Nagy's been in and out, and I can't keep this up. Yeah, now we're definitely gonna have to go low at some point to make the fuel come back. Just going to do it later rather than sooner, but I burned more fuel than I had there trying to make this pass. I didn't make the pass. All I ended up doing was switching the two drivers. So I still think we're looking at second and third position here, though. I want to make sure we keep up well. I mean, I suppose... Let's just go low for a bit here and see. As long as we don't drop too far behind Chadwick, we're not going to pass him as it is anyway. We got Martin behind us, so let's make sure that doesn't get too dicey, but... Here comes Giovanardi. So we're going to pick up a couple more spots, or one more spot each, rather. 5th and 6th. Suri and Decker still going to come in. I think we got to bleed off about a couple tenths here. Hughes isn't even losing ground to Martin at the moment. Meanwhile, Pankiewicz is still staying right behind Chadwick. We're losing nothing by conserving fuel here. And here comes Suri in. Okay, we're up to 3rd and 4th, and we just got to wait for Chadwick to pit now. That's basically all we're doing. I think we need at least another lap of low fuel usage. Go and speed this up. Probably for the rest of the way. Okay, Chadwick's going to come in. So we'll stay on low. He comes in and he pits. We switch back up to medium. And wait for the race to end. I think that's where we're at. So it would have been nice to get by Chadwick. Ultimately, I don't think it changes the outcome. Martin there isn't that far behind, but probably isn't going to make it the rest of the way. We'll have to pit. Got Auer, Mortara, Suri, a whole bunch of other people back this way. Look at Shader way back in 18th. That's not going to be good for AMG, who is figuring to only get 10 points out of this. Nothing has changed. Both drivers driving well. Pankiewicz very well. 10 laps to go. At the moment, she's actually catching up to Nagy, believe it or not. What kind of strat? Yeah, he's trying to be conservative on the tires. Okay. Very conservative on the tires, actually. I don't see us catching up and passing. But we should definitely be able to comfortably stay where we are. And I don't think we've bled off enough fuel yet. So let's go ahead and do that here. Got 9 laps to go. No, we need more. We need to get more back. Probably about a 10th. Could wait till a little bit later to do it, but there's very little risk of us getting past right now. So while there's open track around us, I think is the time to do this. Yep, and I think we're about 0.07, 0.08 away with Pankiewicz, which means a little over a 10th with Hughes. We still need more. This lap still isn't going to cut it. I think I need about another 2 or 3 hundredths, so probably one more lap. Close to a lap, anyway. Still nobody chasing from behind that's close enough for me to worry about. And I think that's enough. But not for Hughes. Hughes still needs more. Probably keep Hughes on low until our fuel numbers match up. They're getting closer together now. Let's go back neutral on the tires. There we go. So that should be about where we need to be. Hughes' form really tanking. He's about 3 seconds up on Auer, who fortunately is burning through the tires. Shader 17th, so that's not doing any good. But Auer's making a run here at the podium. Not going to make it though. Hughes should be able to hold him off. 5 laps left. We seem to be securely in position. Thankfully, Hughes stinking up the last bit of the race here. It does not appear that it's going to affect us. Still a 3-second gap, 4-second gap now on our. Let's back off here a bit. 4 laps to go, and I think we're a bit high on fuel again. Let's burn it now. Okay, hopefully that's going to be enough. If not, it's going to be really close. So, the first driver from another team to beat us this year is Nagy. The first driver from another team to beat Hughes, that is. Pankiewicz also beating Hughes, but driving at 0.7 over the final laps. And still making the podium. Still the leader for the drivers' competition. And in fact, expanding that lead over Lucas Auer. Great race for Daniel Nagy, but also a great race for us. And we continue to run a little bit higher than I think on fuel. So we're just going to back off because we have the time. There we go. 0.03. If that doesn't get us to the finish line, I'll always think it should have. We'll go conserve for the last lap. Pankiewicz almost 10 seconds ahead of Hughes despite the faster issue with his pit stop. Now that they have equal engines, she's got one, I think, maybe spoiler, really superior part, and also is just flat out driving better than he is this race. Final turns, we're back up to even on fuel. We'll end up having just a hair extra. And clear space around us. Daniel Nagy wins. Pankiewicz happy with second. Hughes happy with third. Any cheaters? Of course, Nagy's the only one that really matters that much to us. Got the fastest lap and the win. The pole position goes to Chris Richard. AMG, well, Shader finished well out everything. Lucas Auer in fourth, saving face for them. And everybody was talking about Homola, finished last. So he was not in the winner's circle this time, but in third, Pankiewicz second. Very nice. Hughes with a strong lead. The Pankiewicz moving up sharply to fourth, where she has a decent margin on either side. And most importantly, we've still got twice the points of anybody except for AMG. Strong lead there. We really need to seriously think about promoting this year now. Sebastian Loeb is terrible. We suck. I know they did well today, but I don't care. They suck. LOL. So now we have haters. We're good enough to have haters. Esme Dumont in this case. My boys, the Timex Racing, were pretty close. Hashtag exciting. Boy, we can really see the difference here. 7.9 versus 4.5. Pankiewicz boosting more. Hughes does not. So Pankiewicz just away from that cornering. One more race with improvement for her, and she's got to hit that. On the podium, plus 12. And I think that's what we're going to get here, too. Yes. 7.9, her best race of the year. She had the one down in 13th, but strong results in Vancouver and Rio. 4.5 by far Hughes' worst form of the year. But still, first, and third, that's a dominant racer right there. We still get the first overall and boost our marketability. 1.6 million. Sponsor situation not as good as it was. All right. So yeah, I think we have to go forward with an eye towards promotion. I'm going to have to think about whether that means I'm hiring anybody new to shake things up. Because we'll hire new mechanics that'll help in the long term, but we've got mechanic bonuses right now that we would lose. Like, we'd lose the extra time that Hughes gets. Or do we want to just go through the rest of the year with the mechanics we have and then start off fresh next year? Going to have to put some thought into that. In any case, we're off to China next. Beijing with an expanding and solid lead in the standings. Till it's time for that, thanks for watching, everybody. More Motorsport Manager will continue.